Hello and welcome to Safety Tavern's video on ladders and stairs. Now in this video we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to piggyback on another company's video because it's got some really good stuff in it. But I'm not going to piggyback the entire thing. There's a lot of things that pad the runtime for the training video, and I'm no disrespect to the company that made this, but I want to streamline it a little bit more. And so I'm going to put the company's intro in the beginning, and then we're going to immediately jump to the parts that I want to put into this training video. They also have a couple of sections which are inappropriate for what this 1926 focus is all about. I hope you enjoy this video, and let's get right into it. Here is the creator of the video and Stairways and Ladders.
Well, one independent study in just 4-month period tallied over 900 injuries from accidents on stairs. And in 1 year alone, about 34,000 accidents were reported involving ladders or stairways. Just about half of those accidents occurred while working on a ladder. In fact, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, found that the majority of ladder accidents are due to improper use, poor placement, braking while a worker was on it, and even the wrong selection. With this in mind, the first step for your safety depends on knowing what the ladders and stairways in your workplace were designed for and how to use them properly. This program will show you how to safely use portable ladders, fixed ladders, and stairways, including proper ladder setup, inspection and maintenance, and safe work practices. You work with a ladder just about every day, and maybe it's become routine. So without any further thought, you get any old ladder and throw it up. If this is your approach, an accident is bound to happen.
So how do I get the job done safely?
Knowledge. Knowing which ladder to select and how to use it, and following the proper setup procedures. No matter which ladder you select, be sure to look at the ladder's type. This tells you load capacity, which includes tools, any materials on the ladder, and you. Type 1A is an extra heavy-duty industrial ladder and capable of supporting 300 pounds. Type 1 is a heavy-duty industrial ladder capable of supporting 250 pounds. Type 2 is a medium-duty commercial ladder and supports 225 pounds. And Type 3 is a light-duty household ladder and supports only 200 pounds. Your workplace probably has the most commonly used workhorses of industry. Here's a stepladder. A stepladder is used by a variety of industries: utilities, contractors, and painters, to name a few. Let's look at it closely. A stepladder is portable, stands by itself, and is non-adjustable in length. It has flat steps and a hinged back. Its size is determined by the length of the side rails from top to bottom. Generally, the ladder's steps are spaced 6 to 12 inches apart, and the minimum inside-to-inside width at the top should be at least 11.5 inches. And from top to bottom, the side rails should spread at least 1 inch for each foot in length. Here's some specific guidelines to consider when using and setting up a stepladder. Inspect your work area's surface. Look for any loose ground or slippery areas. Also make sure the feet are placed on firm, level ground. And always make sure the ladder is fully open and spreaders locked. Be careful to use both hands to climb up the front side of the ladder. But if toting equipment makes using both hands impossible, ask a fellow co-worker for help. If you can't reach something, never overreach. Get down and move your ladder. Don't ever use the top step, and don't climb, straddle, sit, or stand on the ladder top. And finally, never use metal step ladders for electrical work or where there may be contact with electrical conductors. Almost every workplace has an extension ladder. Typically, extension ladders are basically light and made for maximum durability. It's portable, adjustable in length, and consists of 2 or more sections that travel in guides or brackets. Size is determined by the total of the sections measured along the side rails. Make sure your ladder has safe support. The minimum width of any section of an extension ladder is 12 inches, and the maximum length of a section should be no more than 30 feet. Also, extension ladders should be equipped with positive stops that ensure a safe overlap of the sections. The safe minimum overlap is as follows. For ladders up to 32 feet, use a 3-foot overlap. For ladders up to 36 feet, use a 4-foot overlap. For ladders up to 48 feet, use a 5-foot overlap. And finally, for ladder sizes over 48 feet, use a 6-foot overlap. In addition to the setup and usage guidelines previously mentioned, also consider the following when using an extension ladder. It's been said before, but well worth repeating. Always inspect the surface on which you'll be placing the ladder, and make sure the ground is firm and level. If possible, get help from a coworker, and never raise or lower the ladder with the fly section extended. Be sure to secure or foot the ladder before raising it. Take the time to figure out the setup angle or pitch. This should be about 1/4 the distance from the top support to the bottom support. So if the working length is 20 feet, the horizontal distance or pitch should be 5 feet at the bottom. 1/4 of 20 is 5. Easy, right? Safer, too, when you take the time to figure it out. There is a simple rule of thumb for checking the correct angle of the ladder. After setting up the ladder securely, stand facing the ladder with 1 foot on the bottom rung and your back straight. Extend your arm and reach for a rung at shoulder height. Your arm should be straight and relaxed when the ladder is at the correct pitch. If the surface you're working against is taller than the maximum reach of the ladder, be sure to tie off the ladder. And if possible, have a coworker hold the ladder while you're working on it. And finally, try to erect the ladder with about 3 feet extending above the working surface. A fixed ladder is permanently attached to a structure, building, or equipment. This type of ladder must be strong enough to support at least 2 loads of 250 pounds on any 2 consecutive attachments. It should be strong enough for various weather conditions, rigging, and impact loads. The rungs are to be parallel, level, and uniformly spaced when the ladder is in place. For example, the distance between each rung or step is 12 inches or less, and rungs should not be more than 16 inches long. When a fixed ladder is longer than 20 feet, it is to be equipped with various safety devices, such as cages or wells. A cage can protect a falling worker by directing their fall to a lower step or landing. Here's another type of fixed ladder. It's an individual rung ladder. Each rung is individually attached to the structure. The lack of side rails makes this a very dangerous ladder to climb. We've seen fixed ladders with cages and some without. If some of the fixed ladders in your workplace are climbed only a few times a year, your company may establish a qualified climber program.
No. This is one of those sections that we will not be covering. Next!
Regular inspections and maintenance of ladders can make the difference between doing a job safely and becoming an accident victim. So be on the lookout for ladders that have broken or missing steps. And don't stop there. Look for broken or split side rails and other structural defects. Defective ladders should be tagged out of order or do not use immediately. When you inspect a metal ladder, look for corrosion on the inside of open-ended hollow rungs. Also look for structural weakness on the rungs and the side rails. All ladders must be properly maintained and kept in good condition at all times. If a ladder has fallen over or been misused in some way, check it for excessive dents and make sure the rung to side rail connections haven't come loose. Like any valuable tool, ladders need care and cleaning, especially when used in oily or greasy areas or when left outside. Routine inspections can help. Look for any deterioration or rust and feel for soft areas in the wood. Know your work area. Try not to put a ladder in a passageway where passers-by could knock it down. If this situation can't be avoided, put up cones or barricades. Moving objects from one level to another? Tie it off. Even a stepladder. Tie the ladder off at chest height to a secure object. And then, with bigger ladders, tie off the top part as well. Ladders should never be used as skids, scaffolds, gangways, or anything other than a ladder. Never put a ladder on an unstable base to get more height. And never use a makeshift ladder with rungs loosely fastened across a single rail. That's asking for trouble. And as mentioned earlier, never use a metal ladder in areas containing electrical circuits. Safe work practices continue while handling ladders as well as climbing them. When unloading a ladder from a truck, first release the ladder from the ladder rack. Lower the foot end to the ground. Stand the ladder upright. Reach into the ladder, placing the rung on your shoulder. Carefully balance it on your shoulder, positioning the ladder with one hand and keeping the other hand free. A safe climbing technique accepted for general industry is alternating hands and feet. This allows a solid hold while moving up the ladder. When working from a ladder, use a three-point hold for stability. That means only one hand is free to work at a time. If you let go with both hands, you're asking for trouble. Most accidents on stairways occur because a worker may underestimate the potential hazards of using a stairway. Remember, nothing is automatic. Each trip up and down is a new adventure. So pay close attention as you climb. If possible, minimize your load. And periodically take rest breaks. Climbing stairways can become routine. So let's look at some basics. A series of steps and landings having 4 or more risers is considered a stairway. Fixed stairs provide access from one level of a structure to another. It should also provide a safe platform so you can do everyday operations and maintenance. Alternating tread stairs can be found in many industrial settings. Small items can be carried in one hand on the outside of the handrails, providing some support, while holding the rails securely with your other hand. Usually, a spiral stairway is not permitted in industrial settings, but in some situations it may be necessary. The spiral stairway is found on tanks and other round structures where the diameter of the structure is more than 5 feet. A fixed stairway must be strong enough to carry 5 times its maximum intended load. So if a stairway has to carry 2 workers and their tools, the safe strength is 2,500 pounds, or 250 pounds for each worker and his tools times 5. All stairway treads must be slip resistant, be it welded tread or a non-slip bar grating. Be sure to look for the leading edge when going down. It's your guide. Railings are mandatory on the open sides of exposed stairways with at least 4 or more steps. Use them. Enclosed stairways should have handrails on one side for your support. Some serious hazards that industrial stairways may offer are insufficient lighting, glare, poor housekeeping, and slippery or greasy steps. If you do come across poorly lit stairways, simply take your time and watch your step. And if you encounter cluttered or greasy steps, do your part and clean them up. What if you're working in construction and you need a heavy-duty ladder for a special job? That's when you need to build a job-made ladder.
Correction. That's when you need to ask your competent person to get you a ladder over here. This is more for GCs and especially for employees that have to climb on the GC's ladders. You need to know what to look for. That way you can inspect the ladder you're climbing on. Do not just go build a job-made ladder because this video told you to. It did not. It's giving you the information so you can make sure you're being safe. Remember, we don't trust the GCs with our safety. Check the ladder yourself.
Because they are built on the work site, they're covered by different rules to ensure that they will be both practical and safe. We've already seen that you can't build a temporary ladder just by nailing some scrap wood together. For the side rails on job-made ladders, you need stress-grade lumber. That is lumber with a grade mark indicating grade, species, and dryness, approved under guidelines of the American Lumber Standards Committee, or the ALSC. Always inspect the boards for knots before using them. The American National Standards Institute, or ANSI, specifies that tight and sound knots of 3/4 inch or less in diameter are acceptable in the wide face, but no knots are allowed on the narrow face. The knot should not be closer than 6 inches on center, nor less than 1 inch from the edge. You're allowed only 2 knots per cleat to ensure the strength of the cleat. Look at the grain. It must be nearly parallel with the length of the cleat. The largest permissible slope of the grain is 1 inch in every 12. Single cleat ladders must be between 16 and 20 inches wide. The rail size for single cleat ladders, as seen in this chart, can vary depending on the working length and pitch of the ladder. Most common are the 2x4 or 2x6 size. Double cleat ladders should be no less than 18 inches wide and no more than 22 inches measured inside to inside. Each cleat must be a continuous member between the outside rails. The rail size for double cleat ladders also varies on the working length and pitch, as seen in this other chart. Note that as the length and pitch increase, the stress exceeds the 2x6 rail's capabilities. Let's look at how to attach the cleats. Attach the cleats to the narrow face of each rail, 12 inches apart from top to top, with 3 10-penny 10D common nails for 1x4 cleats, or 3 12-penny 12D common nails for 2x4 cleats. Stagger the nails to reduce the chances of splitting the wood. Install filler blocks the same thickness as the cleat between the cleats, butted against the underside of each cleat. For 1x4 cleats, use 1x2 strips, and for 2x4 cleats, use 2x2 filler strips. Leave a 1.5 inch space between the outside nails and the top or bottom of each filler block. Do not perform any load test on the job-made ladder. Such testing may weaken it, causing it to fail under normal stress. When using a job-made ladder, many of the rules for portable ladders apply, especially using the proper pitch angle and proper footing. Also remember to provide a landing at the top of the ladder. The cleats must be removed above the level of the landing, and the rails fastened to a secure object. Allow 36 to 42 inches above the landing. Job-made ladders can provide safe and easy access where stairs or portable ladders cannot be used. But remember to take extra care in building and using them, because the final judge of your work is your safety.
Now, I took a whole bunch of training snippets from this video, and I want to make sure that I'm giving the credit where credit is due. These are all of the ending slides from this video. Coastal Training Technologies Corp is definitely still an active company, and they definitely still do training, and all props to them for a lot of the portions of this video. Now, y'all want to play a game? Come on, let's play a game. Without even looking at any OSHA regulations, let's take a look at some pictures. And you tell me if you think this is right or if this is wrong. Here we go. Is this right or is this wrong? 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 1926 1053 Bravo 1. When portable ladders are used for access to an upper landing surface, the ladder side rail shall extend at least 3 feet above the upper landing. 1926 1053 Bravo 3. Ladders shall not be loaded beyond the maximum intended load for which they were built, nor beyond their manufacturer's rated capacity. 1926 1053 Bravo 4. Ladders shall be used only for the purpose for which they were designed. 1926 1053 Bravo 6. Ladders shall be used only on stable and level surfaces unless secured to prevent accidental displacement. 1926 1053 Bravo 13. The top or top step of a step ladder shall not be used as a step. 1926 1052 Alpha 6. All parts of stairways shall be free of hazardous projections such as protruding nails. 1926 1052 Alpha 7. Slippery conditions on stairways shall be eliminated before the stairways are used to reach other levels. 1926 1052 Charlie 1. Stairways having 4 or more risers or rising more than 30 inches, whichever is less, shall be equipped with Charlie 1I, at least 1 handrail, and Charlie 1 II, 1 stair rail system along each unprotected side or edge. So between the training video as well as the game that we just played, y'all should understand exactly what you need in order to not fall off of a ladder. If you're having problems with getting to a specific area, there are other things you may want to look at. Different types of ladders. You have platform ladders, trestle ladders. You also have scaffolding. There are other options available. In the end, talk to the competent person for your company for ladder safety and stairwell safety if you have any questions with this video. That's all we got for ladders and stairs. Stay safe, keep them clean.